Hello, friends, Romans, and countrymen. Welcome back to my channel. It's Mickey here, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. I'm going to be doing another reaction video today. This is a request from Yummy Mudcake, and he asked me to look at Connie Talbot performing She Used to Be Mine from the musical Waitress. This is actually one of my favorite musical numbers. I've assigned it to a number of students, and I think it has a really good dynamic build and climax. It is quite challenging and also very poignant and emotional. Connie Talbot was the runner-up in the first Britain's Got Talent series, and she's released a number of albums since then. They are Over the Rainbow, Connie Talbot's Christmas album, Holiday Magic, and Beautiful World. She also competed on Britain's Got Talent, The Champions, and America's Got Talent, The Champions. And her record label is called Rainbow Recording Company. So she's quite young. She started her professional career in 2007 when she was just 7 years old, and she is 20 now, I believe. But she's had over a decade of music industry experience, and those singing competitions are quite competitive, so I'm sure she's going to be amazing. I've never heard her sing before. This is going to be a complete blind first impression for me, so I'm excited to hear this song that I love, interpreted by Connie Talbot. Let's jump right in.
It's not simple to say that most days I don't recognize me, that these shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know I'm not anything I used to be, although it's true I was never attention sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken, but won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be
Very, very nice. I'm just pausing it there so I don't get flagged. The uninterrupted video will be in the description box below. So I like it very much so far. The things that really stand out to me are I love the breathy, light, intimate way that she started off. I think there's a temptation to start off too loud in this song, and you're really going to be climbing a mountain dynamically. So the more quiet and the more restraint you can have in the beginning, I think really contributes to that build. And so she's done a lovely job with that. And you can hear her control in that light, breathy voice, which I always say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think it's the hardest way of singing. So I'm really impressed with that. I love a lot of the little ornaments that she's doing on the end of phrases. And the other thing that I really like a lot is her phrasing. So she's putting in a lot of commas, a lot of pauses, taking her time. It's not one long legato line. It's more the way that certain words would slip out and then you would hesitate before you say other words when you're really internalizing something and saying something that's difficult and thinking about what you're communicating. And I can really tell that she's thinking about what she's singing and connecting to it very deeply. So far I'm enjoying it very much.
It's not what I asked for. Sometimes life slips in through the back door and carves out a person that makes you believe it got you. You're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for the chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two. For the girl that I knew who was reckless just enough, who gets hurt, but who learns how to toughen up when she's bruised and gets used by a man who can love. And then she'll get stuck and be scared of the life that's inside her, growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little, to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone, but it used to be mine. Oh, it used to be mine.
Very, very nicely done. So I was wondering how she was going to take that climax. And you could hear how she was really quite restrained in that build. You know, obviously she was amping up how intense she was singing and crescendoing, but it wasn't like this straight kind of ramp, you know? She would sing things a little bit more intense and then she would pull back, you know? There was one point in particular, like when she opened up on that line, "Who'll be reckless just enough," you know, she pulled back on that. You could hear that like give and take. So she's not just ramping all the way and pressing that pedal down and going full bore to that climax. And then I thought that she really held back and showed a lot of restraint until that high riff that used to be mine, you know, when she went for that, she really leaned into it. And then she had that really nice blues riff where she went up even higher than the climax note and did some really, really nice blues riffing coming down, some nice blues notes in there. Complicated riffs with a lot of notes and executed those very, very nicely. So I thought the climax was very effective because she really paced herself and there was that contrast from the beginning. And it wasn't this linear climb all the way to that apex, you know? There were these little tiny hills as she was making it to the top. And so when we had that apex of the song, that climax, it really was effective. So I really, really like it. Now let's hear her suck the air out of the room and go back to being really quiet at the end.
She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be
Very, very nice. Cute, sweet little smile at the end as well. I thought that was beautiful, and I think it's indicative of the fact that she was belting in a healthy way on the climax, that she was able to bring it back down and sing in that really nice, relaxed, breathy way at the end again. Because if you're really straining your voice, if you're really pushing on those high notes, to get back down to the quiet part would be much more difficult. And she was able to transition between those two gears really effortlessly, it sounded like. So that gives me more information about her belt, that she wasn't really pushing on the top, which is great. A couple things that are like nitpicky that I don't love. I don't love the amount of reverb that's on her voice. I don't think she needs it. It's very wet. Just my personal preference. I prefer a little bit more of a dry voice because I think you can hear more of what the person is doing. It's just a more clear assessment for me, you know, but she obviously is an amazing voice and that's just a matter of personal taste. But for me, the reverb was a little bit heavy. And then the other thing that I don't love is that she's tied to a karaoke track. obviously not everybody plays an instrument and she might not be able to accompany herself on the piano, but I would have loved for her to be sitting with a pianist who's playing with her, because there were parts where I felt like she was chafing against the tempo of the track, and it would have felt more natural to me if, since she's the center of attention, her accompanist could have been following her and taking cues from her and speeding up where she wanted to give it a little bit more momentum and slowing down where she wanted to pull back a little bit. Those were really the only things that I thought could have been a little bit better, but I think this was amazing. I think she did a really, really lovely job, and it was very emotive. It was very, it tugged at the heartstrings. She did all of the right things, and I loved the climax of the song, and I loved the way that she built the dynamics. She clearly has a beautiful voice and a very mature and deep understanding of the material that she's singing. She's quite young still, and this is a pretty deep song. This is something that I imagine would be sung by like an older woman that has a lot of regrets, you know, like a more like a middle-aged, like at least 30s woman, perhaps not. I haven't seen the musical, to be honest, but I do love this song. And the way that she sung it with such an appreciation for the lyrical content, even being somebody that is very young and probably hasn't had a lot of the experiences that are sung about in this song, I think shows a great deal of intelligence and an astute examination and analysis of the material that I really appreciate. So I thought it was lovely. Very, very nice job, Connie. And thank you so much to Yummy Mudcake for suggesting that I listen to this. I enjoyed it very much. I hope that you enjoyed my reaction, and I'll see you guys here next time. If it's a Monday, I'll see you Wednesday. If it's a Wednesday, I'll see you Monday. Until then, take care. And of course, happy singing.